It is Magic 1075, 97.5, the real sound of Atlanta. Jackie Page. Gotta get into a little girl talk. And sitting down at the girl talk table today, I got some heavy hitters sitting in front of me. I don't even know where to start. I don't know where to finish. I don't know where to begin. So I'm just going to lay it out here, okay? I got visionary, artist, serial entrepreneur, Dame Dash, along with financial service professional, Donetta, as well as serial entrepreneur and artist, Claudia. How is everybody doing today?
Great.
I'm great.
Really good. Really good.
I'm really good.
Super excited to have you all sitting down at the Girl Talk table today. You all have something really big going down in the city. The CEO Go Entrepreneur Experience Tour, HBCU edition 3-day conference.
Presented by American New Network.
We got to talk about this. First, American New Network, you just mentioned that. What exactly is that?
It's my television network or my family's television network, and it's available free. You could download it on your app. You spell it America, not American. And don't spell space, but a space. And type in NU, not NEW.
Okay.
And, it's a television network all with a lot of content. There's docu-series, there's movies, there's television series, there's children's programming, there's therapy programming, there's Blue Rock music. I didn't like the way my creativity was being controlled.
Okay.
Like when I did Paid in Full, I didn't make any money from it. And I had to give a story that I personally witnessed about my culture
Yeah.
to another culture to give it back to my culture, and they made all the money from it. And that was like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So since then, I've been like, I got to figure out how to make movies. I was like, I'll discover my own stars. So I discovered Kevin Hart, put him in 2 movies, but he did his own thing. He decided to work with them. I wanted to really build my own thing.
Yeah.
It's like every time I try to get somebody to come be independent because everyone turns their back on them, that's corporate. Once I make them hot at an independent level, they go corporate.
Yeah.
Happens every time. So I said I'm going to do things on mine and for me through my point of view. And I sold 3 companies before I was 35, Rockefeller, Rockware, and Rachel Roy. I never made enough money to just relax. I just made enough money to be broke again the next day because I would invest in a bigger dream. I only flip companies to put them into other. Like once I flip this company, I already know what we're going to put the money into after that. So I'm like, I got to invest in something that gives us freedom. And we also need a platform because we can't get people elected. We don't have a voice if we don't have a network. And I don't see any black-owned networks. If it says that they're black and they're funded by white dollars, then it's not black-owned.
Yeah.
So this is a black-owned network, and I be trying to work with y'all, but that's another story. But regardless, you also have to be thinking in the future. What will people be doing in 10 years? So I'm like, ain't gonna be no cable, and everything's gonna be different. And I got to figure out how to do a network in 10 years when I'm 52, when I don't feel like doing rap music because I'm too old for it. So I started to build the network, and then I had to pivot. I had Dame Dash Studios, but it was subscription, but subscription doesn't work. So I had to do it a different way. You have to pivot sometimes. It's not a loss. It's a learning experience.
Right.
So then I was like, it got to be free. But then that means commercials have to pay for it. So then I started doing a lot of research about ads, and what I realized was we are being robbed. People don't even know the language of ads in the digital world. So if you got your stuff on YouTube and you don't know the language of CPMs and data and all those things, and you are getting robbed. They're taking $99 every time you make $1. So that means if a commercial runs and it makes $22, they'll tell you your CPM is $2, but they don't tell you what they're taking from your CPM.
Yeah.
CPMs means clicks per million, but it means clicks per 1,000. This is language they're not teaching us.
Right.
They're not teaching us how to pass laws. They're not even teaching us to pay taxes. They don't teach us how to have money. They teach us how not to have money. That's what we go to school to learn from a curriculum that was presented to us by Thomas Jefferson. And we abide by the same thing now, so I'm not going to complain about it.
Yeah.
And that curriculum was for a black man to learn how to listen to a white man, for a white man to tell a black man what to do. And that's real talk.
Yeah.
That's facts. So we have to re-engineer everything. We have to make our own new laws, but we have to know how to pass them. We have to give curriculum. I know about curriculum is I became a part of the OSG. The OSG is, again, a bunch of principals, hundreds from economically challenged places, meaning they're black.
Yeah.
And we talk about what the kids need, not what the government needs. So one of the principals quit being principals in Europe because they gave her a list. This is a white chick from Scotland.
Mm-hmm.
They gave her a list of jobs they wanted them to do, and she said only teach these kids about these jobs.
Yeah.
Rockefeller said, why would I teach? Because they also put that education in there. Why would I teach everyone to be a billionaire who would work for us?
Very good point.
No,
Very
that's
good
what.
point.
So
Yeah.
no one. They want. There's a social class that keeps. There's a 1% and a 99%. They want the 99% to stay not enlightened, so they can do their physical work. And the only way they could break that 1% is if you is if you entertain us. That's what they say. I need you to make me laugh, or make everybody else laugh, or make us, entertain us, distract us, break your bones while you call the owner of your team your master, or your owner rather. Like a football player has to, and anyone, that's my owner. Like, what is that?
Yeah.
Look at the language.
Yeah.
So again, everything got to be new. So instead of complaining about it, we get with the principals, we understand curriculum and what the kids really need. We put it in our content.
Mm-hmm.
So I talk to therapists, I talk to people from the OSG, and then we put it in the form of entertainment. So instead of programming, which is what they do when they distract you, I deprogram you. And I make you, and I teach you how to dream. Because you don't have a dream, you don't have a purpose. If you're complacent and you dream about survival, or you dream about having a boss, or getting more of a paycheck, it's not a dream.
Yeah.
You have to dream big. That's why you're like, I dream about getting at Disney, just like I dreamed about getting at Universal.
Yeah.
Just like I dreamed about getting at Miramax. Just like I dreamed about getting at Polo. All those industries, I never got them in there the traditional way, because the traditional way doesn't behoove us, but the logical way does. So I do things the logical way. I don't care how it feels. What you learn just by being about people, how much they talk, and they're not saying nothing. And the loudest person in the room sometimes that's saying the best stuff is usually the one that's unheard. I'm like the loudest person in the world, and nobody hears me. It's the craziest thing in the world.
Yeah.
So I got to show you, and sometimes I got to talk to you in a way that will wake you up, because I said it nice 9 times, you didn't hear me.
Is that part of the reason why you wanted to come on with the CEO Go Entrepreneur experience, to get this information out to the general masses, so that people,
think
like you
about
said,
it,
so they could do the logical way?
We're doing it in a place of higher learning. So I'm
Yeah,
going
you're
into
right.
college,
Yeah.
and the last time we went into Houston at Rice, and that's like the Harvard of there. So I'm a guy that got a GED, and I just got a doctrine yesterday.
Okay.
So I'm like, I don't have to go to school. I was the bad kid in class. The most gratifying thing is the books we make now, we sell back to the schools that kicked me out. So the ones that I went to on scholarship, private schools that kicked me out, didn't think I was going to make it, I went back, landed a helicopter on their soccer field, and then put my son in the same school, paid full price and extra. They asked me to build a library, then came back and said, now y'all buy education from me.
Period.
The same person you kicked out
Period.
in the 7th grade.
Period. That's big.
Everything big.
That's big. That's real big.
Paul, I was talking to her, mind your business. Janelle, you in it. Now I got to hit you up, Moon Pie.
So the CEO
No
Go...
pause for girl. And invented pause.
So the CEO Go Entrepreneur Experience Tour is going to be at Clark Atlanta. When I hear this, my first train of thought is it's just for students. Is it just for students, or is this open for? Is it for
she
everybody?
She didn't answer direct, right? Because she was. It's only for students.
Okay.
But you could watch it on America New, broadcasted live if you download America New. America News, N-U. So you can broadcast it live, but it's not available for anyone but students.
Okay.
But you could pay $4.99 if you want to go to a seat at the table. But I didn't know about that. That's their thing. But I just going.
But
I'll be there. I didn't know it was charged. But I'll be there. But it's $4.99.
it's not just any seat at the
You
table.
see with me, I get it. I'm not selling it. I'm just saying what it is.
It's a seat with Dame to pitch your business.
No, people pay a lot of money for that.
Yeah. So
You know?
we're doing something for the community that normally you wouldn't have access to,
Yeah.
and that's what diversity does. We put you in rooms you normally would not have access to, and we partner with resources in the community.
For $4.99.
I mean, that's not terribly bad.
I didn't say it was
Considering,
bad. I just
I think it should be much higher.
I mean,
I do
cause,
too. I
like
was
said,
laughing at that. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
$4.99. I'm kind of mad. I'm like, what?
Because we're
Y'all doing
wanting,
dinner with me for $4.99?
because we've got
I charge
partners
people like $25,000
in
for
the
that.
community that think this is important, and that's why.
Right.
And this is one of the reasons we partnered with Phenomenal Hues,
yeah.
Donetta.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I $4.99 to that point. That's
You
not
gotta
a
go
not
$4.99.
but let's-
$4.99. Not a
But
whole
let's
bunch,
talk a little
but-
bit more about a seat at the table. It's a show. We're filming a new show, so it's a little twist there. It's not just $4.99 because it's $4.99. It's because you're coming onto a show.
You also get to advertise your stuff, is what they're saying.
Exactly.
So there's a lot that's
depends-
happening
see, this is
here
what the thing
that
is.
people need to know about.
There's two
Yeah.
different ways people react to $4.99. If you're not an entrepreneur, you like $4.99. You know what I can do with $4.99?
Exactly.
But if you're an entrepreneur, you're like, that's it? That's
And
all?
that was
That's
my
dang
first
dash.
response.
Yes.
Just
I
like,
get to be on TV. Get an ad. and
$4.99,
all
that's
that.
it? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, the wealth of
It's just there's a yin and a yang to look at everything.
yeah.
But
the
either way,
wealth
it
of
sounds funny to go
knowledge.
$4.99. You know, I just like to do that. But go ahead.
But we're only accepting now 15 more people.
Ooh. So if you're hearing this right now, that means you need to get that $4.99 out ASAP because spots are dwindling down. I mean, the wealth of knowledge that will be coming from this session alone is going to be crazy. This isn't the only session that's happening, correct? There's a few others going on, right?
We're touring it.
Okay.
But we have to get this tighter. But we're going to tour. You know what I mean? But again, in any new business, it never goes exactly the way you
Right.
think. Anytime that you start a business and it works the first time, then that means that it's going to be very temporary.
Mm-hmm.
The challenge of, because you have to dream.
Right.
And the challenge of your dream is your dream has to be tested. That's called faith.
Mm-hmm.
And how much you believe in it. So you have to be tested. You're not a general until you go to war. So after the fight, you love that you went through it and no one else has. And everyone's looking at you like you had the guts to do that and you won.
Yeah.
While you're going through it, you might feel things. I don't, because I usually win. You know, I always win. You know, it's been shit. I've had a crazy run. I mean, I started before I was. I've never in my adult life not been a millionaire, and I'm second generation. I broke the social class on my own.
Yeah.
By the time I was 19,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm still here. And I got to retire from music at 35.
Yeah.
Rockefeller was literally. I'm 52. I retired at 35.
Yeah.
And I just said I'm gonna go live life, and now I'm gonna be an artist. So now I'm in rock bands,
Mm-hmm.
and you know what I'm saying, and I'm directing and I'm designing, but I'm just designing for me as opposed to designing other people's lives and giving them a personality. And
Yeah.
then once I tell them how to act, then they be like they want to be me really bad, and then they start doing things like taking the credit for what I do or trying to keep their girls away from me
Mm-hmm.
just because they're acting so much like me. And they don't want their girls to know. But that's another story. But that's what happens. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you have to find your dream and make that your profession
Mm-hmm.
and work so hard at it because it doesn't feel like work that you're the best at it. And then you have to know how to scale.
Mm-hmm.
And with every dream, there's 8 other dreams that come with it, 8 verticals. So if I have a television network or whether I have an album or whether I have a TV show, there's always going to be a soundtrack,
Mm-hmm.
a book, a clothing line. There'll be a art, you know. There'll always be a documentary, you know. There'll always be a curriculum. So I had to have a conglomerate so that all my legs, I could pick the brains for all of my ancillary things. And everything that I do is always a commercial for 8 other things.
Mm.
And if one fails, I could cut that leg off, and it'll grow back, and it
Yeah.
won't affect the head. So that's the way I do things. And I also, because everyone speaks in a different love language,
Mm-hmm.
so I could also talk to you in any kind of language you want to, because a lot of people make a living off telling people how to make a living, but they never made a living doing anything else.
Right.
But I've made a living selling music in a big way.
Yeah.
And fashion in a big way.
Yeah.
And television and movies and all these different verticals that I'm talking about. So I could actually give you experience, not based on intuition, based on I did it this way and it worked, I did it that way, it didn't work, and this is how you should do it.
Yeah.
And now what I've decided to do is just I've been doing it. I'm from Harlem. I just bet it all on my personal dream. So I don't know that that's for everybody. It takes a different kind of courage,
Yeah.
I guess. I just think it's like I'm scared not to bet it all. Only thing I'm scared of is not betting it all and
Yeah.
missing an opportunity. But I'm never scared of because I don't care about money. I don't want to look at money. It smells. Everyone touches it. But
Mm-hmm.
I like to make love. I love making love.
Yeah, ladies, really
That's the
quick.
currency I live in.
I hear that,
For.
ladies. Really quickly.
You know what I didn't want to do? Because usually when I hang out with women, the best thing to do is just listen because most men talk too much. But this is an interview. But if we were just kicking it, I'd just be chilling, just listening to y'all, and y'all would like my ears.
Well, ladies, I do have a question for you. Both of you are entrepreneurs. You're doing this thing on your own. For women that are listening, for the young women that will be coming to the tour the next few days, what advice would you impart on them? Because in these CEO spaces, in these entrepreneurial spaces, we tend to shy away because we're scared, we're nervous, talking about like, not walking in the dream. We have a dream, but we're scared to do it because there's a lot going on and we don't know how to pivot. What would you say to women in this space who have a dream, who want to be an entrepreneur, but they're a little nervous, they're scared?
I would say first, like, congratulations for recognizing that you have a dream and then being brave enough to figure out how to monetize that dream for your future and your family. So, first off, be proud of yourself, pat yourself on the back because you made a decision to jump off the porch, as my family used to say, to leave without a safety net, because any time that you're not vesting in a job and you're vesting in yourself, you have absolutely no idea, especially at the beginning, how that's going to come back
Right.
to you. So the fact that you're brave enough to say, I'm going to invest in who I am and the tools and the gift that I came in this place with, and figure out how to feed yourself and your family with that, especially for women. And
Black
how
women,
Black
yeah.
women.
Come on.
It is most important first that you're confident in that, knowing that, hey, I'm going to figure out how to use the tools and talents that I was given and how I'm going to feed myself. I'm going to be okay with being me and figuring out how to make a living. So that's key first, and never changing that.
Yeah.
Because once you identify who you are, you try to change it, it'll never work. So as long as you are working in that, you'll be okay first and foremost. And then we gotta network and build a capacity, because unfortunately everybody doesn't have the same pathway, and especially for us, most of the ways that we are going to get to be wealth generators are male dominated, and a lot of times white male dominated.
Right.
So just being prepared that you're going to need a network. You're going to need some soldiers to go to war with, Dane with, right?
Yeah.
You're going to need some soldiers to go to war with, and some people
We need
to
some generals with armies.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And some people to support those.
Yeah.
So there's nothing wrong with being a support system, because you can definitely take care of your family and supporting other people when you do it. So just mostly being okay with being yourself and realizing how brave it is, just to go out there and do that.
That's good. Claudia, what do you have?
Well, first and foremost, do not be afraid to have an original thought.
Come on.
That is the number one thing I like for women, especially Black women. Don't be afraid to have an original thought. And then another thing is, I think the best thing I can say is there's an old saying that says, give a man a fish, he eats for a day. Teach a man to fish, he eats for a lifetime. And everybody's always like, yeah, that's not true. That's weird. If you give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day, and you teach a man a fish, he will fish for a lifetime. At Diverse City, we say own the pond. Because if you own the pond, you don't have to fish ever.
Come on.
You can get somebody else to fish. They get 5 fish and give you 1 or 2.
Yeah.
So we're teaching own the pond. Am I saying do not fish? I mean work or fish or whatever in someone else's pond. You can do that, but have your own pond as well. So you can fish in a bass pond and own a catfish pond and do that simultaneously. Own the pond, and that's what I say to young women, especially Black women.
Listen, okay. When I tell you some gems and some jewels and so much more have been dropped right now, like, y'all came in, when I say heavy hitters, I wasn't playing. Like, y'all came in and was just like, oh, hold on, let me just drop a little something on y'all real quick. ATL, Dame Dash, Donetta, Claudia, all sitting down at the Girl Talk table. The CEO Go Entrepreneur Experience Tour is happening at Clark Atlanta.
Brought to you by American New.
Brought to you by American New. Something you need to tap into. I just downloaded
Broadcasted
it. So
live tomorrow on American New.
get into it, okay? And there are a few slots available
15 at $4.99.
for $4.99, 15 at $4.99 for you to get in on this. This is information you don't want to miss out on because this could be pivotal and will be pivotal in your life.
Or you can just come out and welcome Dame to Atlanta.
That works too.
And network on the rooftop.
I'm
Let's
not
do
doing all
it.
that networking. I got things to do. You better come with a real
Not
idea.
you, Dame. The
Yeah,
other people
I'm
will
just telling
network.
you, I ain't doing all that.
The network,
It's COVID,
right?
now I'm just
American
playing.
New. The network. American New. The network. Absolutely.
Oh, hell no. I'm just playing.
Dame Dash is the network.
Okay,
You
thank you
better
all
see
so
me on
much.
American New or pay $4.99.
Thank y'all so
American
much
New.
for sitting down at the Girl Talk table. It's magic.